Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dr. Farhat Umar, and you are watching Mastering Public Speaking. I've already discussed about priming, preparing, and presenting a talk. I've discussed various ways and means by which we can talk efficiently and effectively, but there are certain aspects that need a lot of attention, like the icebreakers, the starters of a conversation. I'm going to talk about icebreakers, giving you some examples in the coming few slides. Why? Because the secret of getting ahead is getting started. The first impression, ladies and gentlemen, is the last impression. The first 10-20 seconds of your talk are going to decide whether the audience remains glued to their seats or simply pass out or start checking their WhatsApp and Facebook. So please stay tuned if you want to be an effective public speaker. Well, the first thing I've discussed about how quotes from famous people can be an effective starter, and then you can also use stories to a great effect. You can use a lot of discussing about certain incidents, and that can also prove out to be very handy. You can say a lot of these amazing facts and perplexing facts that actually engages the audience. You can also use some magic tricks if you can somehow master them. You can use a lot of props with amazing impact on the audience. You can use curiosity, and then you can use poetry. Ladies and gentlemen, talking about the psychology of it, you are ultimately trying to arouse curiosity of the audience, getting them involved in you. How do you do it? You do it by applying various ways and techniques. I'll be discussing some of them in detail. For example, show offhand. It's one of the techniques in which the speaker asks, how many of you love Obama? Some people raise their hands. How many of you do not love Donald Trump? How many of you love Sonu Nigam? By saying this and getting the audience raise their hands, you are indirectly getting all the control over the audience, and at the same time you are basically you can draw inferences from the different kind of responses that you get. You can get involved in a casual conversation with the audience based upon the kind of response that you got from the show of hands. Moving on to the second important point, it has been used and it's an age-old technique that has been used by a lot of prominent speakers, giving quotations from famous people, and then subconsciously people get an indication that you are a guy, here is a guy who knows about the topic well, and then you also arouse curiosity among them, which obviously adds some brownie points. Moving on to something that I personally think is a must in the Indian kind of conditions. Here people are basically, they love poetry, they love Urdu and Hindi poets. If you can somehow memorize or even use Hindi and Urdu poetry in your conversations, in your content, you can get a lot of praises and at the same time make a lot of fans. If you can write poetry, that's going to be really huge for you, because we still have a lot of fan following of contemporary poets in India. Then we have a legacy of great poets whose poetry can be used with a lot of impact. I have given an example of दुष्यंत हो गई है पीर पर्वत सी पिघलनी चाहिए, इस हिमालय से कोई गंगा निकलनी चाहिए, आज ये दीवार पर्दे की तरह हिलने लगी, मेरी कोशिश है कि ये बुनियाद हिलनी चाहिए, सिर्फ हंगामा खड़ा करना मेरा मकसद नहीं, सारी कोशिश है कि ये सूरत बदलनी चाहिए, मेरे सीने में नहीं तो तेरे सीने में सही, हो कहीं भी आग लेकिन आग जलनी चाहिए. I'm sure using these inspirational and revolutionary kind of poetry, you are definitely going to win a lot of applauses. Moving on to the next slide, I'm talking about stories now. See, stories, we love stories as human beings, and then stories can be in various forms. We have kids who love comics, we have kids who love cartoons, we have adults who love to watch movies, and anybody and everybody loves stories in one form or the other. If we can somehow infuse stories in public talks, and at least in the beginning of the talks, it can prove out to be very handy. I've seen a lot of these stand-up comedians using personal narratives to a lot of effect. People like Zakir Khan and we have Abish Matthew and many other stand-up comedians who use personal inferences, and then they create magic, and they have millions of lovers in the whole world. Then surprising facts. By the way, do you know that horses do not have a gallbladder and cow has 4 stomachs? Do you know the smallest bone of our body is situated in our ear, and we have around 22,000 live nuclear bombs on Earth? Imagine if they explode, they're going to end this whole solar system up. Well, there are certain facts which scare, like this one, and we should do something to avoid all the nuclear holocaust, but that is a separate story altogether. We can use these facts and invoke a lot of curiosity among the audience, and then this is a masterpiece. You must watch this video and you must learn from this man. He basically is 2014 Toastmaster winner, and he basically used a rose as a prop to catch attention of the audience, and 2015 Toastmaster winner, he used a cigarette in the finals. That was kind of crazy, but he used it and he got his audience praise him, appreciate him a lot. It was an amazing speech. It's available on YouTube, you can watch it. And then you can use a lot of other props, whichever you feel comfortable with, but use them very cautiously. And magic again is one important aspect which, if properly mastered, can yield you amazing results, but you will need to work a lot on it, like disappearing objects, using tricks, and then using appearing objects, and there are many magic tricks, and you have YouTube. You can find out a lot of these magic tricks and how they are done, and they are particularly very useful when you have kids in the audience. They love magic tricks and you must perform them. You will obviously get a lot of kids running after you after the performance. And then you must innovate and experiment. You see, do not limit yourself to whatever I've told you so far. These are age-old techniques. They have been used, they are being used right now, but there is a scope of improvement every time. There is a scope of learning more. There's a scope of doing more. We as human beings are with innumerable possibilities. So please don't restrict yourself to a few of these techniques. Have your own techniques. You can also share those techniques with me over the course of time. We'll discuss and innovate and come up with amazing new icebreakers. Let's stay away from mediocrity. Let's try to do something new and amazing. With these words, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you goodbye with the hope that you learned from it. We have a lot to learn together. So in the upcoming videos, I'll be talking a lot more about public speaking and different aspects of it. Till then, thank you so much.